Let's talk about adding, subtracting vectors, multiplying vectors by a scalar, by a number. Okay? Those things we need to do if you want to deal with vectors and do something useful with them. Okay? Not just draw them. So first thing first, let's say we have two vectors, vector A with coordinates, and again, those are coordinates of a vector and not of the points. Vector A has coordinates xa, ya. Vector B has coordinates xb, yb. So the way we're going to address sum of two vectors is by summing the coordinates. So it's going to be a vector with coordinates xa plus xb, ya plus yb. Okay. Now, if you want to subtract vectors, that's also fine. We're going to subtract the coordinates. Now, if you want to multiply a vector by a scalar, which means by number, so let's say I have a number c and I'm multiplying by vector a. What we do in this case, we multiply all coordinates by that number c. So we get cxa, cxb. Oopsie. Cya. Okay, like this. So that's all. Right now we need to know about the adding, subtracting vectors, multiplying them by scalar. Now let's do a couple exercises. Let's make a little bit smaller, put them in the corner, so they sit there. Let's just correct this ya, so it looks better. Ya. So, and let's consider two vectors. Vector A as, say, 1, 3. Vector B as -1, 5. Okay? Now, what is A plus B? It's basically adding the coordinates. 1 minus 1, 3 plus 5. And it means that A plus B equals to 0, 8. Okay? Now, A minus B is 1 minus 1 and 3 minus 5, and that makes this 2 minus 2. Okay? Now, if I want to multiply a vector A by, let's say, 3a, I'm going to say 3 times 1, 3 times 3. We get 3, 9. Okay? So that's pretty simple. Now let's make something more complicated. Let's say we have 2a minus half b. Well, first what we'll do, we'll calculate 2a, which is going to be 2 times 1, 2 times 3, which is 2, 6. Then we're going to calculate half b, which basically means we take all coordinates of b and divide them by 2. We get minus 1/2, 5. And the last one, 5 over 2. And the last thing, we want to subtract 2a and half b. And that's simply taking 2a and minus half b, 2 minus half, 6 minus 5 halves, right? And that will be 2.5, which is 5 halves. And 6 minus 2.5 will be 3.5. And that's going to be 7 halves. All right. So pretty straightforward, pretty easy. All right. So the last thing I want to say is really, and you can actually do it as an exercise, that when you say a minus b is the same as a plus minus 1 times b. Okay, it's the same. So when we work with vectors, essentially, whatever the operations we do, they remind us very much the operations with the numbers. Okay. So, and also same as with regular numbers, when we see something like minus 1b, we will be writing this minus b. Okay, it doesn't follow anywhere, it's just notation. Okay, but we use that in regular numbers too. Okay? All right. So in the next video, we're going to talk about geometrical interpretation of adding vectors, subtracting vectors, multiplying vectors by a constant. We'll see you in the next video.